of human engagement and survival is now built around the digital space. And the good side of it is, well, let's start with the downside. The downside is actually creating some unemployed. You just have to keep abreast with the trend of job creation. You have to learn, even I myself, I'm trying also, you need to learn 1 or 2 digital skills, otherwise you'll be left behind. Jobs, careers are evolving. And Ernst & Young released a report a few years back that the trend of jobs by 2030 will be such that there will be more digital skill based. So the question now here is, how prepared are we in Nigeria? Also considering the fact that I have mentioned a few limitations to learning. In the north, we have the largest population of Nigerian youths. We talk about unemployment. And the truth is not everybody is inclined to the traditional education. But you see, with coding and skills in digital world, you don't have to be in a traditional school. Now, with due respect, I hope you understand what I mean. There are traditional schools like the regular primary, secondary, and university. But what I'm trying to say is you can actually be equipped in digital learning skills without going through. So just in case you find that a child has ADHD or suffers from autism or any of these ills or challenges that will prevent a child from attending the regular school in Nigeria, that child can actually be educated in the digital skills world. And imagine Mr. Ibrahim picking up and incorporating them into his class, and in a few months or years running down, they are skilled in developing applications that will be useful in many of the industries around or sectors. Don't you think that will be a great value addition? And I believe that is where, because all the years I've known him, he's also mentioned that he's picked up school children from the streets, most of these who actually hawk the pure water on the side of the road. You know, these children that when you park your cars, they come around watching your screens, acting like nuisance on one part. While many would find them as nuisances, he has actually identified strength and say if he can pick these kids, whether they are school dropouts or they are in schools, and equip them with digital knowledge. So I think that is the bigger vision. First, he's trying to domicile digital learning in the Hausa language so that he can offer a second option, or should I say the first career option for the children, irrespective of their background, irrespective, when I mean background, whether it's the societal status or the educational background. I would say an unpopular thing, which I always tell my children, education is very important, but most of the top billionaires and Fortune 500 are school dropouts. Look, I'm not saying this on the wrong side because there's an argument that can come out. But what I'm trying to let you know is that learning does not happen all in the 4 walls of a classroom, and the world is shaping towards a space whereby you can sit in the comfort of your home. And if you do have a phone or access to some of these applications, you can pretty much learn anything that you want to, that you would have ordinarily learned within the 4 walls of a classroom. You can learn them. There's Khan Academy. Most of my children already learn ahead of time from Khan Academy what they would have learned in their basic school curriculum. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a whole lot that can be learned once you are well equipped with the digitalization of our learning times. So Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim, I appreciate this feat. It's not been easy. I can imagine how long it has taken you. At a time when many probably would not have believed in you. Many would have thought, you know what, why don't you carve a niche in the English language digital space? But you thought of the less privileged, you thought of going local, you thought of the greater impact, and you thought of starting a trend just like other countries I mentioned. In China, I was in China a few years ago, a few months back. I tell you, almost everything there is taught in their own language, in Mandarin. The same thing in Russia. The children are being taught, the digitalization aspects are being handled in their own language. So I think that's something we should all embrace. As we're starting with the Arewa, hopefully the Igbos, the Hausas, and even Ibira, my own. Please don't forget, you know you're an Ibira man. You know we have to go back home as well. The whole idea is how can we, in the shortest time, localize this learning, which at the end of it will have a meeting somehow in the mind of things. But I think that would be another challenge you will have if you're able to, if you start this, creating the ecosystem in the Hausa language, and then the Igbos create their own ecosystem in the Igbo language, and then we have the Yorubas do the same. We have to, there are certain questions that come to bear. At what point do we harmonize these languages? And at what point do we monitor the trends, especially the ills that could fall out of it, knowing full well that in the National Assembly, we're struggling to monitor, ensure we're trying to create legislation that will curb the ills of the cyberspace, bullying and all that. So if you're beginning to have more languages, how then do you safeguard these spaces? These are some things I believe your think tank, and as the conversations keep going on, we'll be able to address, because it's good, but at the same time, we should know that there are certain hazards that could come up if we don't pay more attention to that. So thank you all so much. Know that my office is always available and open to you and your team and many more across the country who are willing to delve this courageous path. It's not easy, but it's worth it. In as much as we should remember at all time I speak about being Nigerian, the fact that we are colonized does not make us British. You can never be more British than the British. We are Nigerians, and it's left for us to develop our country. And whichever way we think we can make an impact in education, in the healthcare sector, whatever it is, it's a welcome idea. Let's localize learning. So thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. A round of applause. Thank you very much. One key takeaway for me there is localizing literacy for digital inclusion. And we hope to showcase more of what we're doing on that. So next on the program would be an introduction of Arewa Rising and the Tech Jerome Scholarship Fund by Ibrahim Mohammed. And right after that, we will have Dr. Kole Shatima also speak to this. Ibrahim, can we have you on stage?
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and special thanks to the distinguished senator. I tell her that when she becomes president, 82% of my problems will be solved. The remaining 18%, I'll wait if she wins a second term. I would also like to thank especially Dr. Kole Shatima for taking time out of his busy schedule to be here, because he believes in what I presented to him as an inclusion project. Thank you very much, sir. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. So before I get into my presentation, I